Talk about it right here. We gon' talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real, real clear. It's Tynee Talks right here. We gon' talk about it right here. I'ma talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real, real clear.
And welcome to the Tynee Talks podcast, the podcast that entertains and educates, the podcast where you come to laugh and learn. I am your host, Tynee, aka Tynee Talks, and I'm so excited to be doing today's episode with you as I have a very special guest. I call all my guests special, but this is like my girl, like from way, way, way back, who's doing major things globally. She is indeed a girl boss. She is all things Black girl magic, and I'm just excited to have her on the show. Today's show is entitled The Journey of a Girl Boss, as I will be talking to CEO Donyale Walton, the CEO of the Hoop Mobb, home of the Hoop earring. And as you can see right now, I'm rocking some Hoop Mobb merchandise, which is the Africana study. So make sure y'all go to www.hoopmobb.com so y'all can be a part of the culture too. Before we get started, I do want to shout out our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by Ray Skin Essentials. Ray Skin Essentials is a natural skin, hair, and wellness store. All of the ingredients they use are carefully sourced and curated for each product. 99% of their store is organic and free of preservatives and parabens. I live by their moisturizer. As you can see, I don't got nobody's makeup on, and the skin is toning because I've been using it for months. So make sure that you use code Tynee, that's Tynee, code Tynee, and get 15% off your entire Ray Skin Essentials order. Go to www.raySkinEssentials.com, and you can follow them on all social media platforms at Ray Skin Essentials. But without further ado, I want to welcome the phenomenal, the talented, the hype, the dope, the beautiful CEO of Hoop Mobb, Miss Donyale Walton.
Talk about it right here.
Hey. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Let's get it in.
Yes.
Listen, for y'all who don't know, Donyale and I have been rocking for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. When were you a freshman? You were a freshman in
02.
It's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years. Crazy.
Baby, we ain't old. So
we don't look like what we've been through, okay?
Hey, baby, we done been through some things, okay? So Donyale and I, for those of you who don't know, we attended high school together, and we were cheerleaders together for Flint Central High School.
The real big red.
Period. And that's what they gotta know, because it's another school on the other side of town that we trying to claim it, but they ghetto, Kwani.
Like this other day, like when y'all came in from the magnet programs, we heard y'all from a mile away. Ghetto.
So for those of you who don't know about the Hoop Mobb was created for those women who ever felt like you couldn't wear your hoop earrings in that corporate meeting. If you felt like you were an around the way girl, because we are. But Donyale wanted you to know that it's okay, and there is a space for you. And Hoop Mobb was founded in 2019, right before the pandemic. So can you tell my listeners, my talkers, how you came to the idea of Hoop Mobb?
Okay, it's funny because my friend, he just was like, tell him what you searched on YouTube. I was a new mom. So I had my daughter in 2018. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. And I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I was making candles before, I had a magazine, all types of things. And I literally was typing in YouTube, like, how to make $1 million. Like, business ideas to get you rich or something, you know. Not how Hoop Mobb came about, but I was learning like marketing skills and stuff like that, or like really what I was learning was e-commerce business, you know what I mean? And but then I'm like, what could that product be for me? I was helping my daughter's dad with his brand, and I'm like, I really like this. I like that people, you know, you drop a product, people are excited about it, like the shipping, the process, all of that. Like, I really like this, but I was trying to figure out what that could be for me. And I'm like, when I don't know where hoop earrings came from, but it just popped into my mind. But when it popped into my mind, I'm like, this is not just like a business because it means something to me. And I know it has a whole history and a background as far as my culture is concerned and our culture is concerned. And I knew that I could speak to it authentically. I knew that I could, you know, provide styles that people would actually like, because I have been in fashion and just worked retail, worked corporately in New York. So I knew that I had like a little bit of style and I could, you know, buy properly. And that was important to me because the other businesses I tried out, I felt like I didn't really know how to market them because maybe it was a little far-fetched for me, or maybe it was like even far-fetched for my customers to understand. I remember I was trying to like offer styling services, and people in Flint don't, you know what I mean? They don't hire no stylists.
Baby, they come as they are.
As you are, okay? All are welcome. So this, I was like, okay, I can easily grasp it. Customers can easily grasp it. I know I can easily speak to it, which I think is a huge business tip. Like if you can't easily speak to or easily explain what your business is, then you need to kind of go back to the drawing board, because like people need to understand it. So yeah, that's how Hoop Mobb started. I was searching for an idea, and this came to me, and it felt so like simple but real and authentic to me. And I think that has like helped with the growth of it.
I really love that. When I think about the branding of Hoop Mobb, it is as recognizable to me as McDonald's. When I think of Hoop Mobb, McDonald's, Burger King, the symbol, you know, you could go to China and you're going to see McDonald's. You're going to see those golden arches. I'm going to see like the italicized Hoop Mobb. When I think of hoop earrings, my mind instantly goes to Hoop Mobb. Like it's been a long-standing staple in our culture for years, but you put a name on it, right? Hoop earrings. Even the shirt that you're wearing, if you could like show the audience like what you're wearing, it's a long history of women in hip hop culture, music, right, with, you know, with Diana Ross in the center from the 70s and probably even the 60s and the 50s. The hoop earring has been a constant staple, but you put the name there. And now we're going to say, when we think of hoop earrings, we're going to definitely think of the Hoop Mobb. Okay? Make sure y'all follow the Hoop Mobb on Instagram.
Yes.
The information will be below, so make sure y'all check it out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you go to the web map and sell out. So you mentioned Flint and people not being into styling. You have such a journeyed history, and I feel like I've been along for the ride to see it. Even when you had the office in downtown Flint for Live Lux magazine and the release parties, and even moving to New York and Walton home with the candles. Like it seems like I've seen everything, and it's been just a joy and a pleasure to see it. So when you mentioned Flint, and I was perusing your Instagram stories earlier, and someone was like, wow, like this is so dope, like from you coming from Flint. And maybe people don't understand the totality of what we mean when we say somebody made it out of Flint. We literally get it out the mud, the murky waters, no pun intended.
No pun intended.
With water crisis. But it's
not the glasses.
But baby, the murky waters are real. So when we have someone, you know, like Kim K saying, you know, you got to work hard, with her starting point being Calabasas, and your starting point being Flint, explain what does that actually mean, and think about this quote that we often say: when we say Flint chicks hustle harder. Like that's a mantra for us. Can you speak to that?
Well, yes. Okay, because we're on today is 313 day, right? So Flint is not Detroit. Get that clear. We never claimed to be Detroit. And I even think Detroit has like a little bit of an advantage over us. Just considering its rich history. Flint doesn't have that. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we do have a lot of people who have made it, who have in different industries. Like Flint people touch different industries, but we're such underdogs. You know what I mean? We're such like, I told somebody else, like we are scrappy. Like it has to be so intentional for us to make it. Like it has to be very, like you have to have crazy determination. Like nothing is going to happen by happenstance coming from Flint. Like you're not just going to run into somebody that's like, oh, you know, if you're a beautiful 6 foot tall woman, you're not going to get no modeling deal in street Flint. You know what I mean? Like, or if you, like for me, like I've always like danced and styling and stuff like that. Like that's always been something that I was interested in. And my mom, you know, she would put me in different things, but it's like, it's only so far. You can only go so far in Flint. And I think it's important. A lot of people who do make it from Flint, they do have to leave and then make it and bring it back, you know what I mean, in some kind of way. So I feel like if I didn't leave, even for that little bit of time, or two, if I was always so enamored with TV. Just like, I don't know, I looked at it like, oh, okay, something about it feels to me and not just TV, you know what I mean? So back in the day, we was watching The Hills and The City and stuff like that on MTV. I was telling somebody like, now we have the choice to, like, you know, really control what we want to watch. Back then, everybody was watching everybody, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't nothing. So the things that they were doing, I'm like, okay, I would love to intern in New York or, you know, something like that. So although I went to Mott, and now I'm like, at first it was kind of like, oh, okay, I don't have a degree, but I went to my community college, and it's like, I still didn't allow that to like deter me from trying to get internships in New York or, you know, really pursuing fashion. I knew I could finagle. Okay, I could finagle my way up to these rooms, and being from Flint, it's just, you have to, like I said, get scrappy. You have to have like a crazy determination, because like no one is checking for anybody from Flint. We even say, yeah, I'm from Flint. Oh, Detroit. Hello, did you hear what I said?
Did you, F and a D, where did you get that from? And we'd be like, that's 45 minutes away. Like,
yes. And it's so funny. Like we, I don't know. I feel like we all stick together. We all find each other some kind of way, no matter where we are in the world. Like I was in Miami. Do you know I ran into Milton?
Harvey?
Yes. So like, it was crazy, but we all like, I don't know, that's like a brotherhood. That's almost like a fraternity sorority. You know how wherever you go in the world, that's your sister, that's your brother. That's how it is being from Flint, because we literally kind of all we got, you know what I mean? And the I feel like the relationships are a little deeper.
Oh, exactly. So, you know, when you're a mom and you're doing stuff from home, your children, you saw my eyes go up. Your children just.
I saw the mama eyes, mama bear. Please believe, I understand.
Wait a minute, the mom eyes. But yes, to your point, Flint is its own sorority, fraternity. My future husband always says that we are our own tribe. So when you think of like, Nigerian culture, a lot of like the Yoruba and the I can't think of the other
Igbo.
Igbo, yes. When they come to America, they have, you know, spaces for them, like even in Dallas, I'm sure in New York. And I feel like that's how it is with Flint people. Like we can venture off somewhere, but we always find each other. In LA, there's like a Flint tribe. Here, I'm in Dallas, and like we have like Flint to Dallas. It's like a whole tribe. It's like We
Atlanta,
always
everywhere.
gravitate to each other because we have a unique experience that only we know about.
Yep, exactly.
And so I just think that is great. You touched on so much. Yes, our starting point is different. We don't start on third base for sure. We probably start like outside of the field.
We in the dugout, but okay.
Now we in the dugout, baby. We red shirted, but we walk on. And listen, that's the grit about us, right? We get red shirted. We don't even make it on the team like the other players made it, right? Through scholarship and being recruited. We come in and we be like, oh, you gonna red shirt us? Put me in the game,
let me show you something. Yes.
Let me show you what I could do. And we're always out of there.
Yeah.
You have people like Corey Stokes. He's traveling the world. He's featured in Vogue and all these high-end magazines. Robert Demery, he's an actor. He's been in some of your most notable movies, from the James Brown movie, acting alongside Chadwick Boseman. He just did an episode of Law and Order. It's crazy because when you said you saw Melton in Miami, like we be everywhere.
Everywhere.
He's from Flint. Oh, I saw him at the corner store. I went to high school with him. It's a real thing. So being in that journey history, going from your magazine, going to mod, you've even done an industry. You were a car salesman.
Oh my God. And I DoorDash. Like,
you really?
Yes. I was DoorDashing 2020, like the year that Hoop Mobb took off. Earlier that year, I was DoorDashing.
And that's what we got to do. And I'm so glad that you say that, because people think that entrepreneurship is just a glitz and glamour, and you wake up, like you said, you were Googling how to be a millionaire. They think that you hit Google, press enter, and boom, the money comes. Like, no, you gotta work for this. How has your work ethic changed or improved over the years?
Oh, that's a great question, because I'm a terrible employee. Like, I'm gonna just put that out there. Like, I've had 11 jobs, okay? Like, I was dating somebody and I was like, oh yeah, I used to work there. He's like, where haven't you worked? Like, it's how it goes from Popeyes to car salesman to everything. Like, I had a million jobs in my lifetime, but I was always great at, like, making a good impression and actually, performing well, but the fumes, like the gas, you know what I mean? And then I would be a terrible employee. And I would always wonder, like, why can't I just be happy here? You know what I mean? Like, when I was working in New York, I had got a corporate job at Brooks Brothers, and I was like, okay, this is great. Like, corporate fashion job, like, that's the goal. You know what I mean? That was like, felt like almost, a good, like, time stamp of like, okay, you kind of made it. This was your goal, was to get into the fashion industry for real. You know what I mean? And girl, I hated it. I was like, this was not what I thought it would be, or not what I really envisioned. And I would, like, beat myself up of like, why can't you just be satisfied with this? Like, why can't you just step back? But I would always have, ideas. The other two girls, it was so funny. We worked for Brooks Brothers, which is, you don't think of us when you think of Brooks Brothers, but it was 3 Black girls. We all worked together in the same department, and we was like a little crew. But they would joke about how I had a new idea every day. And I did. Like, I always had, like, what if such and such this? I would always have, like, a new business idea. And I, like, resented that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sick of having all these ideas and nothing really leads to nothing. Like, I feel like I can have ideas but not make money from them. You know what I mean? So, work ethic. My work ethic has changed because when I worked for people, like I said, it would start off great. And then the gas would run out, and I knew I was, like, a terrible employee. Like, I just didn't want to perform, or I would do stuff at the last minute, or two, I just felt like maybe I wasn't being valued, or the skill set that I knew I was really good at, that's not what was being used. It was like, no, we actually just need you to do this. You know what I mean? And I knew I had much more to offer. So, but now it's like, I have to show up, you know what I mean? But it's not like a burden, or it doesn't feel like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you can directly see the effects from the work you put in. You know what I mean? You can directly see, like, okay, if I put this much time and energy in, this is what we're going to get out. You know what I mean? And so when you talk about work ethic, when the Hoop Mobb was like taking off and I was doing it, I started doing it full time pretty early because I was unemployed.
That'll do it.
Ooh, that'll do it. You got to worry about me. You ain't got to worry
about me, okay?
So, yeah, I had so I was doing social media. So I had a client, but it was like part-time, and she was based in DC, so I wasn't, it wasn't enough to cover all the bills, let's just say that. Mm-hmm. And so when Hoop Mobb started taking off, like I said, I was doing it full time, but I was doing let's just count it. I was doing the website. So I, updated the website. I would take the pictures. So I would do the photography. I was a model in the pictures. I would edit the pictures. I would send out the emails. Mm-hmm. I would do the customer service. I would ship the packages. I would package our earrings. We have special packaging. I would package them. That's like, what, 9 things? You know what I mean?
Baby girl, you was doing a lot. Okay. Are you?
The work ethic was great. Okay. So, but it just kept growing, and I'm like, okay, I can't stop because it's growing. And it was like giving me a rush, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, oh, it's 7:00. I ain't ate today. You know what I mean? But because I was just I started to form a routine for myself, which I am just not a routine person, but it helped, to like, okay, in the mornings, that's when I pack orders, then I answer emails, then I do this, then I go pick my baby up. You know what I mean? So it was a great, like, way to get myself organized and have a routine. But that work ethic for me, because I know that being an entrepreneur is a part of my purpose, like, it showed up right away when it was time for me to do my own thing.
That is, oh my gosh, you were doing, so now, so with you saying that you were doing all those things, and now you have your family surrounded by you to help kind of fill in those gaps. When did you know to say, look, I got to outsource some of this? They say Black women are the hardest working people on the earth, on the planet. And we will work ourselves a lot of times because we feel like that if we don't do it, it's going to mess up. Like, when did you have enough courage to say, I got to outsource this? I need some help.
Mm-hmm. So my mom and my grandma, they started like volunteering to help me. They would come over in the evening. My mom would come over after work, and they would help me package the earrings. So that that point I was starting to buy like hundreds of things at a time. And so they would come over and like help me package stuff, or my mom would like come and take the packages to the post office for me because I had Victory. And so they would just come over and help. And then the turning point is we had hit 6 figures in sales. And then, I know, crazy, but Kiana had an opening for her law firm, where trademark my stuff. I went to that. They had an opening, and she was talking about, and then she had her staff and stuff. And so I'm like, yeah, I feel like I need to hire somebody. I'm just scared. Like, I don't know if I can, And she was like, you can. And I was like,
that's exactly how she said it.
Like, how do you know? She was like, just think about it. Like, if you do this, it's not gonna hurt you. Like, it's gonna help. You got to really think about, Keanu talking about a minute. You just really got to think about how it's gonna benefit you in the end. This is that. And then I don't know if I'm sure you know. Don't slip my mind now. What's Kevin's wife?
Which Kevin?
Pastor Kevin.
Oh, Sharita.
Yes. Oh my God. Sharita. Sharita is a little bit more soft-spoken, a little bit more like classy. She's like, oh no, honey, you need to hire somebody.
Right. Lay down your burdens, child.
And that really opened my eyes and like put things into perspective. I talked to Pam about it. Pam is my accountant. And I was like, okay, I think I could hire one person at the very least, you know what I mean? And so, like I said, my mom had been helping me. And unlike myself, my mom is like the best employee. Like every job she's ever had, people, they loved her, she's the one that they don't want to see go, she's the one that's like, we wouldn't know what we would do without you, so she's like amazing. So I knew, a lot of people have apprehensions about hiring family, but I'm like, no, my mama, she's a great person to hire, because she would, one, because this is, my business, it's a personal thing. So I know she's going to take care of it like Mama Bear, you know what I mean? And I just know her work ethic is like crazy, you know what I mean? So she came over one day and I'm like, I need you to quit your job and work for Hoop Mobb full time. And she's like, okay. And I was like, so this should be your last week at work? She's like, oh.
Okay, so soon? Okay, got it.
But she hated that job anyway. So it was like a blessing to both of us. And that we cried. It was like a moment for us. But yeah, it really took for me to be, and that's why I think it's important to always be connected to certain people, because had Kiana not, had her business going and had that bit of advice to offer, I don't know when I would have felt comfortable to do it. You know what I mean? But just her and Sharita putting that into perspective, like, okay, it wouldn't, take away that much, and we would be able to do more. There's only so much I can do in person. And I think that's what a lot of people, like with investing in your business and growing, I think a lot of people are scared of the cost all the time, scared of the investments that you have to make. But as long as you have a plan for the return, you know what I mean? I think that's the bigger picture to look at. It's like, okay, look at how much more we can do with the team. So
what does the saying scared money don't make no money, what does that mean to you?
It's true. And so I went to LA on a buying trip one time, and I took my friend Crystal with me, and she was starting her boutique at the time, and I'm like, it would be good for you to come out here and just see, how it goes down. And like, the mob is the mob. The mob is like
gang.
Like we gang. So like, I can't go out there and get like one or two of a thing. You know what I mean? I have to really buy. You know what I mean? I have to invest a lot in inventory. And so, one of my vendors, she's helping me, and I'm like, okay, give me all of this, everything that you have in this color, or like, no, I need to take all three of these like cases of stuff. You know what I mean? And Crystal was like, what? And I'm like, if I run out of inventory, we run out of money. Like,
and that's what they gotta know.
That's what they gotta know. I'm like, so I need to always have inventory lined up, And then it started to click for her. She's like, okay, like instead of being like, ooh, that cringing at the price or cringing at like, what if I don't sell it? To me, once I knew like the demand was there, I'm like, okay, I need to, if I have more, I'll make more. You know what I mean? So that's what that means to me. It's like, and even now it's very hard to be like, dang, okay. And you have to manage like cash flow. It's so funny. Like I went to but I was taking business classes. And a lot of that stuff is popping up, you know what I mean? That I was learning. I'm like, okay, you know, I feel like I was running Hoop Mobb like a drug dealer for a second, but after a while,
they're the best entrepreneurs.
Best business teachers, okay? But you do have to put some like, well, they do be putting strategy and organization in place, don't they?
Hello, The Wire, baby. Every week they had a new name for it. Got that WD-40. Got that. That's a marketing strategy. They had to make their themes want to get the best high. You know what I mean? And that takes strategy and marketing, because they would even put out testers. And I see you even do that, like sometime when you do your lives, or how like you would drop a little hints with like the mama necklaces and charms. They would do that. They would give out little free samples and kind of, and then those things will run back like, that's that. You got to go, only go, you know what I mean? As sick as that's what it is.
It's real. It's so real. And that's what I tell, like now I tell people like, you cannot knock anybody's hustle that's like getting it, because I'm telling you, so many people want to make things nice and pretty and brand colors and logos and websites. Meanwhile, Keisha, she just sold 300 tacos. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she made some money, and you in the hole trying to get your website purchased.
You in the hole, baby. What, as the saying goes, real dope sells itself.
Come on,
baby. You got that good product. The people you build it, they gonna come. And baby, you built it. Baby, you built it.
First of all, you giving you got too much insider knowledge on this drug game.
You know, I might have dated somebody who knew somebody who knew something about it.
Right.
We from Flint.
That's all. We from Flint.
That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
1 degree of separation from a different life.
I told somebody the other day, I said, I was so close to being a hood rat. It don't make sense. Like, the difference between now and being a hood rat is not, it's very minute.
Baby, we still like hot Cheetos.
Hello, like I'm gonna bust it down. You know what I mean? If the right song come on, you know.
Now, yeah, you were on live the other day. You was like, "Cause I fight," and I was like, "That's my girl."
Y'all here talking crazy.
So I really wanted to ask you this question. I saw this meme the other day, and it says, "Stay away from people that still see the old you and don't respect the current you." And that's why I have to watch myself and not call you Kwani. If y'all heard me slip and say Kwani, that's a nickname, but this is,
and that's fine from people who know me like that.
Yeah, this is the Donyale Walton CEO, right? But how do you deal with that quote? How do you deal with people that only see the old you, the thin line, the hood rat version of you, the side ponytail, the twisties, and don't want to see that you really have evolved. You're a fashion guru icon. You know how to do the hair. She's gonna do a YouTube hair install video. You know what I mean? You can walk literally as your brand states. You can go from the boardroom to JB's.
Hello. Okay.
But how do you reconcile that when certain people is like, hey, I'm not that person anymore?
Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like even as a child, because Crystal's mom just commented this, I've always been this person, kind of. So I think regardless of whatever else was happening, you know, I'm a majorette or, you know, like I said, riding out to JB's, I feel like people always saw a slight difference in me, and I always knew that there was a slight difference. For example, you know, my friends, it was a group fight at school one day, you know what I mean? And like, that beef, first of all, it had to do with only 2 people, but it's 17 people involved in this beef. You know what I mean? So, but that just constantly, every time we go to a party, we just prepare to fight if we got to. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this ain't really me. You know what I mean? Like I think I knew it, and my friends knew it. You know, like that there was a little bit of a difference. And so I think now, like, I don't have to deal with that as much as far as people wanting to like still look at me a certain way, because there's always been like a bit of ambition, and I don't know, like I always had drive, even as a child. So I feel like it makes sense for me to be where I am now to a lot of people. Like it makes sense. Like, oh, okay, yeah, because you was always trying to do something.
You were set apart. You know, people know.
Yeah, I think even for you, like this makes sense, complete sense for you. You know what I mean? Like, I think you know, like you recognize whatever we have, God puts it in us as a child, and if we stick, you know, life, and maybe we come away from those things that are really true to us and our core, but like most times we go back to those things that are just natural for us as children. You know what I mean? Yeah. Tynee is a talker, you know, so.
It's so interesting that you say that. Like earlier, where you talking about watching TV was so real for you. It was real for me. Like even Terrence be like, he just cracks up at me most of the time. He said, I'll see you on your phone making characters up. And he'd be like, you be so into it. Because that's me at my core. I remember my sister and I used to have these Crayola seats, but you could stack them on top of each other. And I would stack them and sit in front of the mirror, and I'd be like, and reporting live on the news. And I would watch Oprah and Jenny Jones and Ricky Lake, and I'm like, that's gonna be me. Like TV literally raised me. I don't know what's on TV these days.
Raised all of us, okay? You better stick your butt in front of that TV.
TGIF was real. Thursday night, all of that. So like you said, I think it's literally innately in our core. And Monique, the comedian, always says, you got to talk to that inner little girl, because that's who we are at our basis. Our personalities are formed at such an early age. And you just don't let it bury you. And with us coming from Flint, I can see how so many people's inner child gets buried.
Oh my God.
Just marred, coming from where we come from, so many people have gotten locked up or murdered, like people that were our friends who have been literally murdered. And it's like, wow, they were not able to realize their full potential. And so we get so happy when we see one of us make it. Just like I've been smiling this whole interview because you literally make me happy. You really see you blossom and walk into your purpose. Everybody doesn't get the opportunity to do such a thing. It's a great feat. You know what I mean? And having your mom is fabulous. And I have posed a question to you when I emailed you. How did your parents allow you to soar? Because I work in education and I see so many parents that don't allow their children to soar, either because they didn't do it, or because they were scared themselves, or because they're just scared of the world.
I know.
So how did your parents allow you to soar, and we get to see you now, and you're not even finished reaching your peak? So how did that
happen? My mom is a blessing. Like I just was telling her, my grandmother, this, that, unfortunately, it's uncommon for a Black family. Like we don't have anybody strung out on drugs. We don't have anybody in jail. Like for all of us to be healthy and like in our right minds and all of that and like doing good, like that is such a blessing. Like that creates so much trauma in Black families. It's just ridiculous, So I feel like that is like a privilege that I have to like have not dealt with significant trauma growing up. And then my mom, she was always Okay, she was always with it.
Okay, Miss Robin.
Whatever I was like, I'm ready to do.
Yeah.
She was like, okay, which is crazy now. Like, I remember as a child being upset at her because I would feel like, okay, I was in gymnastics, but then she took me out. Or I was in modeling classes, then she took me out. And I would always focus on like, but she took me out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing that this stuff is expensive and she is a single mom.
Right.
And I'm lucky that I even got to do this stuff in the first place. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I could grow, as I got older, I realized like just how much of a blessing that was that I even got exposed to this. I mean, I was in a pageant, like it was just ridiculous stuff that like out of nowhere, I'm like, oh, mama, I want to do this. And she would like make it happen. You know what I mean? So, girl, when I was at Longfellow, she would come home from work. I thought of this cheer y'all should do. And she would like make up cheers for us. They was the most ghetto cheers you could ever imagine. Okay, you want to hear one? Because I know you went with it.
Yes.
It was a Bow Wow song. And she said something like, I want to see you bounce with me now. Like, what you gonna do, Whittier? What you gonna do?
Tell her don't ever come for Whittier Braves. Tell her don't ever come for the Whittier Braves.
She would make up cheers for us. So that's just what like I would say she was not that like baking cookies for the class and all that. Like she was not that type of mom, but she literally was whatever I wanted to do, she was like with it. And also she doesn't acknowledge the fact that she has had an entrepreneurial spirit herself. You know what I mean? Like we were the candy house in the neighborhood. Okay. So that alone, like she would sell candy out the patio. We would make money. One time she was like, okay, you can, if you run the candy today, you can take all the money from it and that'll be for your birthday. You know what I mean? So like that she did hair in the basement. You know what I mean?
Kitchen beautician.
Braid people hair. Yes, she would braid people hair. She would give us everybody in majors, we all had the same blonde streaks because she would do our hair. Like all these things, her and my cousin, they sold dinners. They would go to like the hair salons and stuff and sell dinners. So all of these things, like I feel like we discredit our people. You know what I mean? Like these are entrepreneurial skills. It's gonna look different for everybody, but that doesn't mean we should not praise our people for getting to it. You know what I mean? Right. So she was just an awesome mother. And I remember like some of my family, some of my cousins, aunties, uncles and stuff, they would tease me or not tease me, but they would like, I don't know, almost try to embarrass me. Oh, Kwani was at a party, she was doing this, you know what I mean? Like that my mama would allow me to go out and party and have fun and stuff like that. And she would all like, when anytime we leave, don't listen to them, they just mad they don't get to do nothing, you know what I mean? So I feel like she allowed me to have some freedom, but she, I was on punishment, I was still getting whoopings and stuff, you know what I mean? She gave me a good balance, and I know that she was trying to not like hover over me. Like it was she was just a great mother, especially now I know that all mothers are just winging it. You know what I mean? Like we don't know what we're doing for real. Like we're really trying to figure it out. So I feel like she did an awesome job in like really not hindering us and like whatever, even moving to New York, like that was like, girl, a lot of people's parents were like, no, you don't know that, like that's too crazy. Don't nobody that it's expensive. The stereotypes of New York, it's too expensive. All the people, this and that, who you gonna live with, especially in New York, Craigslist, finding roommates off of Craigslist is just a normal thing. You know what I mean? To the rest of America, that is insane. That is insane.
Right.
You want a serial killer to kill you. You know what I mean? Like, so for her to just be down for that, like I'm just really, really grateful. And so the same thing applies to Hoop Mobb. She was like, yep, whatever you need help with, and she is like my right hand. she always talks about how like, well, I always ask, are you still happy with your job?
Right.
Like,
Am I getting a 5-star rating as a CEO?
Exactly, you know. And but that's important to me for everybody to make sure that they're happy, because I have been that unhappy employee so many times, you know what I mean? And so, but she always talks about how she has no problem going above and beyond because she feels appreciated, you know what I mean? I'm like, girl, you my mama. I'm gonna appreciate you.
Shout out to Miss Robin.
Yeah.
Yes.
She is awesome.
The thing that I hear, the theme of your mom is just exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was for a limited amount of time because funds were limited, my baby gonna get the exposure in all those seats. Everything you name, you've done.
Yeah.
Doing hair in the basement, you come on, Donyale, hair tutorials. Making up cheers, come on, Flint Central High School. Come on, Major. I mean, you gonna make the A count.
Yes.
So it's like she is you and you are her. And I'm so glad she did not stifle you. I mean, like I said, working in education, you see all types of parents. So, but every now and then, most of the time, more times than not, you get a parent like Miss Robin. And like the fact that she let you go to New York, you jarred a memory with me and my mom. My mom was the same. My mom let me do anything. If my mind conceived it, baby. So when I moved to Chicago, have you ever seen the Cosby Show when Sandra, the oldest daughter, moved to an apartment and the train went by and the apartment was shaking? It was her and Alvin's first apartment. No. Well, that was me in Chicago. I lived. The L train went right by my window and it was like,
oh my God.
Honey, listen, when I moved to the apartment, it was in North Chicago, so I didn't live in the South Side, but it was still,
right.
And so when we were moving in the back alley, because in the major cities there's alleys,
right?
There was a dumpster behind the alley, and a big old rat like this big ran through the alley. While my mom was in the car boo-hooing, she was like, you gonna live here? I mean, she was crying her face off, okay? And she just sat in the car, and my baby daddy at the time, he was helping me, move it in. Well, he wasn't my baby daddy at the time. AJ wasn't thought of, but he was helping me move it in. And he was like, what's going on with your mom? I was like, well, maybe I should just move back home. He was like, we didn't get this.
Right, we did all of this.
But my mama was just like, and she was on the phone calling people like, it's just like Sandra Huxtable. But baby, she let me move in, even with the tears. She prayed over that apartment. She put blessing oil with the crosses on every door.
The one thing she gonna do, she gonna pray.
And that's what they gotta know.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But my last question for you, because I know you got things to do. And I enjoy this so much. How is the Hoop Mobb empowering women?
We are empowering women to just be themselves at all times. Like I remember a very vivid time. Like I remember this conversation. It has always stuck with me. It was back to the bricks in Flint, and me and Crystal were downtown. Crystal's my best friend. We were downtown. We were sitting where that McDonald's used to be.
Mm-hmm.
So we were sitting in that parking lot, just sitting on the sidewalk. And I remember having like, I told her like, I feel like I'm having an identity crisis. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know which, you feel like you got to fit in somewhere, you know what I mean? And I felt like, okay, I just made it out the hood rat phase, you know what I mean? Like I just skated by. So I don't feel comfortable in certain environments. And then you go into these other environments where, okay, you're smart, you're this, you're that, but it's pretty Caucasian. It's pretty like, inauthentic to who you really are. You know what I mean? So I was like, I feel like I'm having an identity crisis. Like I don't want to be labeled as this or this. You know what I mean? So I feel like Hoop Mobb, in the small way we can, like I want to empower women to just show up authentically as who you are in any space. Like there's no reason why, you know, a lot of society will try to pressure you into being what they want you to be, especially in corporate America or whatever. But me wearing these hoops in here does not stifle me from putting together this Excel sheet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or me wearing these hoops does not mean that, you know, I'm uneducated or, you know, anything else. So like, I feel like just a way for us to like really bring our culture everywhere with us. You know what I mean? So that's how I want to empower women and to just keep follow through with your dreams, with your goals. I feel like if they're looking at Hoop Mobb from that perspective, like this was something that I did. I started it and then I put it down for a little while. I was still working full time. And at least 3 people on 3 different occasions was like, I know you had a lot of good ideas, but this one is the one. You know what I mean? Like you should really not let this one die. Like, you know, you don't make candles no more, or you know this, but like, you really should not let this one die. You know what I mean? And I listened to that and I'm like, okay, yeah, people are really gravitating towards this. I feel like it was hard for me to sell the other products, or harder for me to create the other businesses. But this, anytime I put it out, it was just that fear. I was only putting out a few products here and there and not really investing into Hoop Mobb like I should have. But the things were selling out, so that it just wasn't clicking at the time that if it's selling out, you should restock, you know? Like that means you still have room for growth, you know what I mean? But a lot of those failed experiences were still haunting me a little bit. Like, you know, you tried this, it didn't work. You tried that didn't work. So like, this probably is not working either. So yeah, I would just encourage people to just keep pushing through. Like even if it's not that thing, you will learn something from that you can take to whatever is going to be the thing. But just to keep on in the pursuit and be like flexible to adjusting if necessary. But yeah, that's all I got.
I love that, because even with Walton Home, the candles, right? I feel like you had to curate a certain type of thing for it to sell. And with Hoop Mobb, you have a hoop for every occasion. Yeah. And that is authentically you. You're, like I said, it transitions to all these different spaces of you. Whereas with Walton Home, you had to be that one thing all the time to curate that. And this transitions with you and your moods, your personalities, all of that. And I want to end with this quote. And it says, sometimes growth requires new company, new locations, and new mindsets.
Amen. So true.
And I think you've done that with everything. I love that. And so thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know that this will help so many people, or at least enlighten them about like your colorful journey of being a serial entrepreneur. And it
ain't over.
It ain't over. Because baby, the magazine, y'all got the Hoop Mobb magazine. I didn't spend enough with the Hoop Mobb to make it, but baby.
We got extras. I'll send you one.
Thank you. But I love that. Congratulations on all of your success. Thank you for coming to Tynee Talks. And we definitely laughed and learned a lot about you today. So I know this will be really great. And in true Tynee Talks fashion, this is your time to give a shout out. So who you gonna give your shout out to, girl?
Shout out to the team, Jessica, Janae, Robin, Dominique, Valencia, Simone, my new virtual assistant, like, and everybody in the group, the hideout, like, thank you for holding us down. Like, all the customers, the loyal customers, the people who spread the word, like, the people who give opportunities, Ashley and Twinette, like she
Yes.
has like open doors for Hoop Mobb. It's just so crazy. Like all my friends, Kiana, everybody, like the whole mob, like shout out to them. Like we really would not be without them.
Oh, I love it. Can I be a Hoop Mobb correspondent?
Absolutely. Yes. Cool.
Hoop Mobb TV on location, because baby, I'm out for life. And I'm still hosting your baby party next year. Period.
Because she's the extravaganza she's planning. We need a whole MC.
We need the David Tutera. Ain't that the man to do all the parties? We need all that.
Oh my God.
But thanks once again. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Tynee Talks. Follow us at Tynee Talks. Be sure to follow Donyale at the Hoop Mobb on all social media platforms. If you're on Facebook, be sure that you join the Hoop Mobb Hideout for exclusives. And that's where the mob get together and act the whole fool. We be in there, gang. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to get all new episodes and things about Tynee Talks. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on, y'all. I'm trying to make some money. Get me to 1,000 at least. Dang. The least y'all could do. Okay. Well, thank you for coming to the podcast that entertains and educates, the podcast where you come to laugh and learn. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. You ready? It's Tynee Talks right here. We're gonna talk about it right here. We're gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear. It's Tynee Talks right here. We're gonna talk about it right here. I'm gonna talk about everything you like. I'ma make it real clear, cause it's Tynee Talks. And I'ma talk about it. Yeah, cause it's Tynee Talks.